Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I'm going to be reviewing the NECA Toys TMNT Cross Universal Monsters figure for Leonardo as the Hunchback. It was released at Target as part of their Fall Geek Out event, and it costs around $36. Now you can try to get it online. It might be sold out. Most likely you're going to have to go to the store and see if you can get it there. So this is a look at the box. Turn it on the side. Some of the other figures in this line that have already come out or have yet to come out. We have Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. We have Michelangelo as the mummy. Leo, of course, and we still need to get Donatello as the Invisible Man. I've seen some people already have April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein, and then Splinter as Van Helsing. So we still got a couple more to go. There's a look at the back of the box here. It is a big, chunky box that is window box on the inside. Get a good look at this figure. He looks great. And right before we crack it open, just for comparison's sake, here's the box that Michelangelo came in. And you can see it's like half the size of Leonardo's box. So that's very interesting. But anyway, I'm really excited about this. Big fan of this line. Let's open this up, get a good look at Leo as the Hunchback. So here he is, Leonardo, the Hunchback, all out of the packaging. And we've got a few different things to go over. This is, wow, this is a figure. Let me tell you, this is a figure. First, let's talk about the accessories. Starting with the hands. Altogether, we're going to get 4 pairs of interchangeable hands, including the hands that he already comes with. And then you're also going to get a couple of pairs of these weapon holding hands here. And they also show on the box the proper way to put the sword inside of his hands. So you're going to have to do it straight up and down. They say don't do it at an angle. So you're going to get these kind of hands for him. You're also going to get a pair of fisted hands. All right, if you don't want to hold anything, you got fisted hands. And then you also get some pointer finger hands for Leonardo. And then last but not least, you get 2 flame accessories. I really do like these 2 flame accessories that you can put on the end of his swords. Now this is really awesome. And those are all the accessories that you know. It's not all the accessories that you get. He actually comes with quite a few accessories. But where are they? This is absolutely brilliant. Have you noticed these swords sticking up out of his shell? They go into the back of his shell. So if you don't want him to hold the swords, you have a place to put it. But if you don't have a place for those other accessories, there's also a place for those too. My friends, brilliance awaits. Many of the other accessories can be stored right there inside Leonardo's shell, including this skull here. It has like a little hole at the bottom of it, and there's a peg. You plug it right in. This brain in a jar that it actually comes out, so you can just take this out and you can lift this up and the little brain comes out. So you have that, and you can just, I probably can't get it from this angle, but you can kind of just, oh, I got it, sort of. You can put it right back in there inside of his shell. And then you get a couple of these shovels here, or spade, however you want to call it. You have one that's the sort of square-ish kind of a shovel, and then you have the other shovel that's more of a pointy kind of a shovel. You get a bone, just a free-moving bone right there. And then, of course, the swords that you can stick inside of the shell. It's absolutely brilliant. And another really smart thing that NECA did here is with the shovels, there's like a little lip right there at the bottom of the shell. You can kind of put the tips of the shovel under that so that they just won't fall out. But when that's not good enough, these swords, when they're put in here, as you can see, they cross over the shovels. So that gives it even more of a reason to stay put. So that is absolutely awesome. And I love how they put this padlock right here. So, you know, it looks like it's locked, but you know, everything just comes apart really, really easily. And it's just a little simple little notch right here that you can just pop the shell right into that notch, and everything is great. That's probably my favorite thing about this figure. I love it when figures have built-in places for you to put accessories. And then, of course, the other really biggest selling point about this figure is going to be the incredible detail that NECA has put into it. And it's rocking on all cylinders. I really like the design of this shell. Look at all these different patterns, the swirly patterns all around this shell. Michelangelo has some really cool hieroglyphics on his shell, but Leo as the Hunchback, you know, is very cracked, it's broken. There's a combination of metal, and it's very medieval, if you will, for Leonardo here. So moving him over to the front so you can get a closer look at him there. Now he is the Hunchback, so you know it makes sense that he's going to be hunched over. So you know that works. And it also is pretty cool that his neck really stands out, like it's sticking out towards the front, you know? So that gives a very unique look. And then you can also move the head down quite a bit. Look how low you can move that head on him. And that's without bending him over or anything. He's already hunched over. It's just moving his head. You can get pretty low with it. And then if we can face him right back towards the front, put his arms down a little bit, you can lift the head right back up. So there you go. And before we go any further, I do want to point out something that it's a flaw with this figure, at least with mine. I feel that his legs are too loose. You see how they're kind of spread apart like that? That's one thing I noticed right off the bat. His legs, I feel like they're too loose. They're not the smooth feeling that I've seen in some of these other NECA figures without them feeling loose. Like, no, this is like legitimately loose. So as far as his stability goes, he still stands up pretty good on his own. But, you know, I just wish that the legs weren't so finicky so that when I'm moving him around, he just doesn't go off into one of those poses. But like I said, the stability is there. As far as the articulation goes, this whole line of figures that I have so far, they aren't really big on articulation. It's not bad, but at the same time, they're not going to be posed like traditional Ninja Turtles. These guys aren't necessarily limber, as you can expect, especially from someone like the Hunchback. So while you still see, there's those legs again. So while you still have like a bend at the elbow, it's a very small bend, you know, and you still have these elbow pads right here that's going to get in the way. But even besides that, you don't get a very large bend to the elbow there. The biggest range of articulation that you can get really is going to be for the hinges on the wrist. You can kind of bring those in like that and it hinges out this far. So it's a pretty decent range as far as that wrist motion goes. And then you got the butterfly joint right there on the arms where you can kind of move it in and out. It's pretty stiff, you know, but you don't get a lot of range, just a little bit. And because he's the Hunchback, you know, ab crunch, please don't be so rude. He's the Hunchback. The ab crunch is what got him in this position to begin with. So no, forget it. You're not going to get that. And then as far as the legs go, you know, they can spread apart, you know, fairly good. But again, the legs are loose. The knees, kind of the same thing with the elbows. You know, you get a little bit of a bend, just a little bit, but not a whole lot. You know, it's not a lot there. And then the pivoting on the ankles. Yes, you get the ankle pivot, and then you can also get the tilt. You have that. That goes a long way to helping him stay nice and stable. But of course, he's not going to do that now because I just got finished messing around with them. But yeah, he's got these chains right here dangling from his feet. It is a very nice effect. I like that. The pans look great. The paint looks great. He's got this scar right here that's sort of stitched up on his hand. The figure is a fantastic looking figure that would be almost perfect in my opinion if it weren't for these darn legs that are loose on mine. But other than that, I think it's great. So now let's take a closer look at some of these accessories. I'm going to whip out one of these swords here. And just so you can see how the sword kind of goes into the shell, there's a pretty well hidden hole right there that you have to stick the sword in. And then it only goes one way. So if you try to do it the wrong way, it won't go in. So you have to get it the right way in. And then you just push it through. It's a lot easier when you have the shell open, because now that the shell is closed, it's probably like hitting some of the accessories in there. So I can't really tell. So you have to open up the shell and then kind of try to put it in So now I can see where the sword, you can't see. Now I can see where the sword is going. Okay, there you go. Now you can sort of see better where the sword is going. So you just have to angle it in the right spot and then just push it through and then you'll be good. All right, so let's take these swords out real quick. And let's see how these flame pieces work. Now, just like how they did a great job with the holes in the shell where you can put the sword in, it just really matches the shell because it's already cracked. So it looks like it belongs there, but it's a slot for the sword. But as far as these flame pieces go, again, there's only one way to put this in, and it's hidden at the very bottom of the flame piece. So it's a very nice and secure fit. And I'll just turn that around just to try to put it in the other way, and it is not happening. So you have to turn it a specific way, then you get those flames in there. Here's the other one. Get it at the right angle. Bada bing, bada boom. You got it. Now I'm going to put one of these swords in his hand. So I'm going to take off the left hand and just stick this in here. Pretty tight fit. There we go. So there you go. The Leo with the flaming sword. Really awesome. Do the same thing on the other side. It's a really great look. I mean, look at that. Isn't that cool? And this stands right here, I think, just looks awesome. I didn't even pose him. He just sort of ended up this way. But he looks great with that flaming sword there. And then you can just do whatever you want with the other hand. Give him the other sword if you want. Give him the pointer finger so it looks like he's leading. You know, there he is. Get those guys right over there, you know, or whatever. Give him the fisted hand. You know, it's whatever you want. So many different accessories, so many different possibilities for customization and whatnot. And it's just awesome. This is an awesome figure. But before we wrap it up, we've got to do some comparisons. So this is Michelangelo as the Mummy. You can see that he's a skinnier figure, nowhere near as bulky and beefy as Leonardo. Okay, now a lot of that has to do with the shell because you're storing the accessories in the shell, you know, but he is still a pretty girthy figure. And then here is Raphael, Frankenstein's monster, both of which larger than Michelangelo, but Raphael and Leonardo are both, you know, kind of big, get your whole hand around it, big, beefy, meaty figures. They're taller than Mikey, they're bigger, they're bulkier, you know, but hey, they're different, and I like that. So, you know, these guys look cool. This is an amazing line. I'm a huge fan of this line, and I cannot wait to see how Donatello turns out as the Invisible Man. And I want to get my hands on the April O'Neil as well as Frankenstein's, the Bride of Frankenstein. I haven't been able to find that around, but I know some people have. So, you know, just keep my eyes open for it. But if you're even thinking about getting this figure, or if you're on the fence about getting this figure, please get off the fence and go to the store and buy it. Trust me, you will not regret it. This would have gotten a perfect score if it wasn't for these legs. But other than that, this is a great figure, around 36 bucks. It's a great addition to your collection. So that's it, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.